Hari Om, everyone. Shubhani ji is on her way back from the San Jose Chick Retreat. So I'll be filling in today for Shubhani ji as we moderate today's call. But we'll start first with the invocation mantra. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Samasta Jala Kalyane Niratam Karunalayam Namami Chinmayam Devam Satgurum Brahma Vidvaram. Hari Om, everyone, and welcome to the next installment of Booklight. I will hand it off to Lizzie, who will help introduce Swami Shantananda. Riddhi, you are unmuted.
Okay, can everyone hear me? Okay, so although many of us are familiar with Swami Shantanandaji's inspiring personality, I would like to say a few words to humbly introduce Swamiji. Swamiji is the resident Swamiji at Chinmay Mission Vrindavan in New Jersey and is a senior disciple of Pujya Gurudev Swami Chinmayananda. Swamiji completed his studies at Sandipani Sadhanalaya in Mumbai in 1978 and spent 2 more years in retreat in the Himalayas. Swami Shantanandaji has had the unique opportunity of traveling with Pujya Gurudev for 2 years as his personal secretary. Swamiji has played a major role in building the Chinmay Mission centers in places like Hong Kong and Taiwan. Swamiji is a gifted and engaging speaker who easily captivates his audience with his mesmerizing teachings and stories. I would like to thank Swamiji again for leading the Booklight Satsang today, and we are so grateful for Swamiji's presence and guidance. Hari Om.
All right. One more thing to note, and then we'll start with Swamiji, will be for any questions that anyone has throughout the satsang, please message Shubhani ji, and we will then forward those questions on to Swamiji as the satsang goes on. So privately message, go down to the very bottom, chat, and then you can choose Shubhani Chaitanya. From there, you can type your question, and that we can ask that after Swamiji's lecture completes. So now I'll hand it off to Swamiji. Hari Om, Swamiji, you are unmuted.
Hari Om. Samasta jana kalyane niratam karunamayam namami chinmayam devam satgurum brahmavidvaram. I met Sri Gurudev when I was 23. Now I am 73. Now you can imagine how many years I served the Chinmaya mission. As Riddhi said, I had the privilege of traveling with him. For 2 years as his personal secretary. During that time, I didn't understand his greatness. I knew he is great, but I didn't know how great he was. Only when once an incident happened during that time, when we were traveling in Kerala. There we met a Nambudiri. Nambudiri is a Brahmana in Kerala. Nambudiris are called, Kerala Brahmanas. He said he wanted to sell his property. He went into debt. So half the portion he wanted to sell, half he wanted to retain it. But then he found that his ancestral temple is where the property he wanted to sell. Now he wanted to bring those idols to his house. Now these are all very old ancient temple, and you cannot just move the idol as you want. So there is a system in Kerala, there are 8 astrologers sit down and calculate, and then they decide what to do. So they calculated and said that you cannot move this. You can move the idols only when there is a Jivan Mukta present. Even if there is a Jivan Mukta Purusha, in his presence, you can move it. Now he asked, who is the Jivan Mukta Purusha? So I don't know who is he. So they calculated, then finally they said the Kanchi Kamagodi Acharya, that old one. Then this Nambudiri said, I don't think I can bring him. Is there anybody else I can think of we can approach? Then they said Swami Chinmayananda. And Swamiji, he was telling this to Swamiji. And Gurudev laughed and said, you believe in the astrologers and all that. But afterwards, he changed his itinerary, went to this Nambudiri's place, and in his presence, they moved the idols. After that incident, my vision about Gurudev was totally changed. He was a Jivan Mukta Purusha, no doubt about it. And I had the privilege of being with him 4:30 to 6:30 every day morning for 2 years. That was the golden time, and it was very precious. Now coming to the chapter 3, we must. Gurudeva said physical health, mental harmony, and all-round happiness are the demands of every intelligent person. To achieve this, man has tried everything in the field of politics, economics, and scientific development. But all systems like communism, socialism, secularism, capitalism, all fail to achieve this goal. But the great masters of yore, who apparently reach the state of utter joy of satisfaction, perfect health, and supreme harmony, they say that all these depend upon man's inner thoughts, not upon outer luxury. Then he says the cause of disease is sin. Sin is false action born of wrong thoughts. So we must correct this wrong way of thinking by sublimating the thoughts. In Srimad Bhagavat, Lord talks about sublimating thoughts. But he says our vasanas are so strong. However much you try to sublimate, the thoughts keep coming again and again. And the only solution is prayer. The prayer will remove the vasanas by the root. In Chandogya Upanishad, there is a beautiful story. In Satyayuga, the Devas and Asuras were in different places. Devas, gods, were in heaven. Asuras were in Patal. Netherlands. And when it comes to Treta Yuga, they were in two continents. Lord Rama was in India and Ravana was in Lanka. And when it comes to Dwapar Yuga, they were in the same family. Lord Krishna and his own uncle Kamsa, same family. And Pandavas and Kauravas, they were all same family. Then the Upanishad says in Kali Yuga, it is closer. Devas and Asuras seems to be, they are in our own mind. Therefore, the no tapas. So Satya Yuga, the Yuga Dharma is tapas. Treta Yuga, the Yuga Dharma is ritual. Dwapar Yuga, the Yuga Dharma is worship. In Kali Yuga Yuga Dharma is Namasmarana. So during none of them work, no tapas, no rituals, nor puja will help. Only prayer will help to change the evil thought to divine thoughts. Prayer does wonders. It can slowly change the climate of our minds. All famous saints attain mukti by prayer. Tukaram, Mirabai, Kabir Das, Guru Nanak Sahib, all achieved glory through Nama Japa. Samartha Ramadas, Shivaji's Guru, chanted 13 crores time Ramanam. And Bhagavan himself came and became his Guru. I have one more story for you for the significance of Ram Nam. Are you okay listening to story? So there is a portion in Tulsi Ramayana. Tulsidas ji gives something called Namayan. The glory of Ramchandraji's name. And he says the name is greater than Bhagavan himself. And he gives so many incidents, so many examples. It's very interesting. It runs in pages. So many chopais writes there. One of the story is that Kashi Raja, one day he was going for hunting. He happened to see Vishwamitra Rishi, but he did not greet him. Some reason he did not greet him. This offended the Rishi. Rishi went to Ramchandraji. He was the ruler, he was the king. But he complained to him saying that a praja, a subject in your country, is misbehaved with me, never respected me. How is that possible? When you are the king, you are responsible. So Ramchandraji asked, who is this person? Is that Kashi Raja? So I want his head before the sunset. The order of the Guru, he said, okay, you will get it. And it was announced that Ramchandraji is going to cut off the head of King Raja, the Kashi. Kashi Raja was scared now that nobody can face Rama in battlefield. So Narada came and advised the king, you go to Anjana, the mother of Hanumanji, and take shelter under her. Everything will be fine. And the Raja went and prostrated to Anjana, held her feet and saying that, please save me. I am in trouble. My life is in danger. Please save me. He said, don't worry, I will protect you. Now tell me, what is the problem? Is that Rama is going to kill me? Now it is a problem. I thought you are in trouble with some ordinary problem, ordinary people, but this is Rama. How are we going to face it? Then she called Hanumanji. She informed the whole thing, and Hanumanji said, don't worry, I'll take care of it. Now, this Bhagavan, looking for this king, he came, and finally he found that he is under the protection of Hanumanji. Hanumanji told the king, just to stay behind me, don't come out. Now, Bhagavan came face to face, Hanuman, I know you are hiding this king. I have to kill him. This is my promise to my Guru. I have to fulfill that. Move away from there. Hanumanji said, he has taken shelter under me. That for the sake of my mother, I had to protect him. Then Ramchandraji said, that is the case, you have to face my arrow. He said, no problem, go ahead. And Ramchandraji started shooting arrows. But Hanumanji kept saying, Sri Ram, Jai Ram, Jai Jai Ram. Then all the arrows failed. And Bhagavan himself was surprised. How come my name is taking and all my effort is failing? And finally, he had to accept, Lord Rama had to accept. His name is greater than he himself. And the king was released. And Vishwamitra also came and said, I wanted to show to you the glory of your name. That is why I enacted this drama. So, this story our Gurudev used to say, so prayer converted even a dacoit Datnagar into a great Rishi Valmiki. Gurudev advises another sadhana to handle about thoughts, to watch our thoughts. One of the most beautiful and difficult, very effective sadhana in Vedanta is watching your own thoughts. Our thoughts are mechanical. Thoughts are not deliberate. They are very mechanical. The morning you get up, you hold on to a thought, and that thought will lead to another thought. That will lead to another thought. And by the time you go to sleep, only when you go to sleep, you will get down from that thought. It is something like, Gurudev used to give an example, in Kerala there is ariknut trees, supari trees. They are very thin. And miles these trees are there. And when it is ripe, the person who has to bring down these suparis, they climb on one tree. And then he will remove all that suparis, bring down all the suparis. And then he bend the tree and get on to the another one. Then you must have got on in the morning this one place, and after 1 mile, 2 mile, he will get down in the evening. The same way, our mind also get on to one thought and bend that thought and get on to another one, and then another one. Like this, we are habitually, mechanically, we think. Now, this thought pattern is to be broken. So that is only then you will be able to dynamically live. Otherwise, what happens? We become victim of our own thoughts. Thoughts are always in the form of likes and dislikes. And Gurudev says, if you start watching your thoughts, you recognize your likes and dislikes. And he says, be indifferent to your dislikes. If you recognize a strong dislike, you try to overcome that. In the management school, they say, if you are afraid of water, go for scuba diving. You get over that. So watching the thought, that is why sometime once in a way, once a day at least, sit down quietly for half an hour, doing nothing. Don't initiate any thought. Just watch your thoughts. Don't comment. Don't rate the thoughts. Don't comment. Don't say this is good, this is bad. But as it comes, you watch. And slowly, slowly, you will see the number of thoughts start reducing. And this is one of the most beautiful and at the same time effective sadhana. Slowly, to replace the present thought in us with holy thoughts of prayer and surrender of love and peace, tenderness, kindness. Then only we become healthier and happier. Now, how to surrender? See, the word surrender comes all the time in Vedanta, and most of the Gurudev always talk about surrender. Now, I had this doubt when I was traveling with him. I had this great doubt. So I approached one day morning after the dictation and all the letters, reply and all over. I just prostrated to him and asked, Swamiji, I have a question. What is that? How to surrender? Hey, surrender, that is all. But my problem was the one who has to surrender is the ego. And that ego never give up. Even if the ego says, I surrender, he is not surrendering. So this is a very difficult problem for me. So I approached him and they immediately said, surrender is not an act. It is an awareness born of understanding. An understanding that there is somebody above you. So all the time, if you become conscious that there is a Lord who is watching over us, that consciousness, awareness is watching over you. Then what happened? Our ego gets diluted. Slowly, slowly get diluted. Then surrender happened. That is called surrender. So otherwise, however much you try to surrender, it is always at the ego level, and ego will refuse to surrender. So this is the summary of the 3rd chapter. The 4th chapter is Gurudev talking about enthusiasm. It's the very fuel in all great men. In spiritual self-improvement, and serving the nation, missionaries as we are, we must discover in themselves this flawless enthusiasm. But pessimists have no enthusiasm. They complain about everything, people, circumstances, fate, etc. They bury themselves in their imaginary sorrow. But optimist people are the cheerful, dynamic people. But their enthusiasm also sometimes get destroyed or get disturbed. If there is an obstacle, there is continuous obstacle. You should learn this from Ramayana. Ramchandra ji was faced with so many obstacles in his path in finding Sita in the Lanka. Before he found her, there were so many obstacles he had to face. But all of them he faced with enthusiasm, continuously, without losing hope. He continuously worked on it. For this, what is necessary is a purity of mind. Mind has to be maintained as pure as possible. So when our sattvic mind is always cheerful and enthusiastic, and rajas and tamas comes and disturb, then mind loses its purity and cheerfulness, enthusiasm. So our Gurudev says, to maintain that optimism is difficult. We may leave halfway the job in hand. So the solution he gives is patient self-application with all enthusiasm in a joyous mood of healthy optimism is the secret plan of action of all great men. All great men become enthusiastic because they have a higher goal and purpose in life. That they derive enthusiasm from that higher goal. So we also should have something higher in our life that keeps our enthusiasm going. So life is a death-long discipline. The source of energy is the Lord. Through prayer and meditation, let us come to feel our oneness with the infinite Lord. So through prayer, prayer is a dialogue between you and the Lord. And that Lord is not somewhere else. He is right now with you in your own heart. Dakram vipapam parameshma bhutam yat pundarigam puramadhya sagyastam tatra vidakrang gaganam vishogat tasmin yadandastadupasidavyam. So, sannyasa mantra, sannyasa sukta, talk about it. Dakram vipapam parameshma bhutam yat pundarigam puramadhya sagyastam. Puri means this physical body. In this body, in the heart, in the center of your body, Pundarigam, in the heart, resides that Paramatma. In a small space between lap and tap, Bhagavan is residing there. And that is true also because all-pervasive consciousness, Paramatma, need a reflecting media. That reflecting media is mind. The mind is seated in the heart according to Vedanta. According to science, mind is the brain is the seat of mind. But Vedanta says heart is the seat of mind. So naturally, there is where he is reflecting. The reflecting media being mind, mind residence being heart. So Lord's residence is also in the heart. So that Paramatma is to be meditated upon, and with a prayerful living, remembering Him. Prayer is to remember Him. That awareness that He is watching over me, He is with me. This thought makes you confident. So that's called Atma Vishwas. Atma Vishwas means self-confident, one meaning. Another meaning is Atma is with me. Iti Vishwas. Paramatma is with me. This faith should not be given up. This awareness to be maintained continuously. I think that is the reflection on these two chapters.
Thank you so much, Swamiji. So now we have time for some questions, if anyone else has. Please, again, in the chat, please feel free to message Shubhaniji, and from there we can then have you unmuted to ask the question to Swamiji directly. Swamiji, one question I have is, what is the, how can we tell the difference during that one sadhana Swamiji has given to us for reflection, to watch our thoughts? How can we be sure that that doesn't turn into negative dwelling? And how to distinguish between those two?
Yeah. So that is why we have to practice this. This is not something that comes automatically. So one has to be very alert, extremely alert. And that thought, if you get involved with the thought, then it becomes negative. That's why I said the thought is, you have to watch the thought, not get involved with the thought. So it is this called the, what you call the vrittis, thoughts. You watch. When you watch, what happens is you start rating it. This is good, this is bad. And when you start rating it, then you get involved. Once you get involved, then it becomes, yeah, you get into a negative situation there. Yes. That one has to be careful. So the become conscious of your thoughts. One first beginning is, number one, the starting point is become conscious of your thought. That mechanicalness is to be broken first. Then slowly, once you become conscious of your thought, you are, I am thinking this, I am thinking this. Maybe in the beginning, you may get involved with the thought. That is okay. That doesn't matter. But slowly, things will change. This is my experience. I have experimented on this. So in the beginning, you may get involved, but at the same time, you keep doing this. But over a period of time, you learn to detach. You become an observer. When you become an observer, then you will be able to monitor, you will be able to deliberate. This is called deliberate thinking. The thinking become deliberate. So I have seen our Gurudev, when he used to dictate letters, sometimes he gets letters from different centers asking for articles. And he reads the letter, he asked me to write immediately. There was no thinking, or there is no collecting his thoughts or nothing like that. He just said, right. Then he started dictating, and so much focused, sometimes he lift his leg on the table, and then suddenly I don't hear anything from him. Then I look up, he's napping, taking a nap. Then after he, just a few seconds or 3 seconds or 4 seconds, he naps. And then he come out of it and he remember where he stopped. He never asked me to read it back. He remember, see, sometime he must have stopped at a preposition or an adjective or a comma or a semicolon. He remembers that and he immediately start from where he stopped. And this is the discipline because of the deliberate thinking. That you will develop, that art you will develop. This is necessary for the lecture also. When you are giving lecture, this discipline is very important, because when you start talking about a particular topic, you develop a topic and then you divert by giving an example and sometime a story, and you have to come back to the same topic. So this, otherwise the audience is lost, you are also lost, then you will be miserable. So this discipline is very helpful in even in the lectures. It's called deliberate thinking. Be watchful.
Thank you, Swamiji. We have one question from Geeta Somayajla, and and unfortunately she's not able to ask in person, but because due to an audio issue. But the question is, one moment. Swamiji mentioned higher purpose. What should our higher purpose be as young adults?
That each one has to choose, because according to their aptitude, you see. Somebody want to serve the nation, somebody want to serve the community, something that is selfless. So your spirit is lifted, you see. The higher goal, ultimate goal is moksha. So that is the ultimate goal. But as youngsters, it is better for you to have some immediate goal, short-term goals. So that will inspire you. Doing community service, there are so many areas that people need help. So those areas you take it up and help the community. So that is a higher goal.
Great. The next question, Sanji, is from Vaibhav, who's also on our Chinmay publications team. I will unmute Vaibhav and I'll let him ask the question. Vaibhav, you are unmuted.
Awesome. Hariam Swamiji, I had a question from chapter 3. There's a point in there where it says, if you replace your thoughts with wholly more positive thoughts, you'll be able to become happier, healthier, etc. But then afterwards it mentions, if you don't do this, then all of your sadhana becomes wasteful and it just leads to unproductive sorrow. Could Swamiji elaborate on how not making that change leads to unproductive sadhana?
Yeah, if you stop sadhana, that's what happens, then we go down in our progress. That is what he meant, I think. So when you are progressing your sadhana, what happened? There are certain obstacles come, there are some reasons come, people stop. And also there are so many other psychological reasons also there. Gurudev has not mentioned all that there. It's a brief essay. So it is something like when you are practicing meditation, let us say, this is one of the sadhana, right? Now when you are practicing meditation, in the beginning, what happened? Our superficial mind get quieted. Then slowly what happened? It takes maybe 1 year. And then what happens? Our subconscious start coming out. The subconscious means the inherent vasanas, which were there from lifelong, not only this life, many lives long. Those vasanas start surfacing. When it starts surfacing, what happened? You become irritant. When When normally you are not that irritant, but now you start become very irritant, angry, passionate, lusty, greedy. All these emotions start coming out. And this is called poison. You know, in Palari Mathanam, there is a story in Puranas, the churning of Milky Ocean, you all know. And this churning of Milky Ocean is the sadhana. This is meditation. And when the mind is churned, what comes out is poison. And what they did, they offered to Lord Shiva. The same way in the sadhana seat, meditation seat also, when such thought, negative thought comes in our mind, we have to offer to the Lord and remain like that for some time. This is a phase you have to go through. It will pass. Okay. Wish you all the best.
Our next question, Swamiji, is from Suraj Patnaik. Suraj, you'll be unmuted.
Hari Om Swamiji. My question is, in chapter 4, Gurudev talks about how basically in order to become enthusiastic and to carry out our goals efficiently, that we have to have patience. And so that's something that I struggle with. So I was just wondering if Swamiji can give us some tips on how we can cultivate patience.
There is no tips for that. But patient, you have to see the consequences, then the patient comes. So to live a pessimistic person, it's a vegetable like life, complaining about and irritant all the time, and then there's no life at all and miserable life. Compared to that, do I want to become dynamic and enthusiastic and cheerful and happy person? These two personalities you give, imagine, and then you choose which personality you want. I want to be enthusiastic, I want to be cheerful, I want to be happy. This personality I want, or I want the other personality. You decide that. And once you make that decision, then automatically you choose, you have chosen that personality. So you will work for it. Then patience comes, because that ideal is in front of you. So naturally patience will come. Okay.
Our next question is from Sahana. Sahana, you're unmuted.
Hari Om Swamiji. Swamiji mentioned that we should see God as higher than us, but also that God lives within our own hearts. Yeah. How do we get from seeing God as separate to seeing him as within us?
Actually, according to Vedanta, you are God. So there is no separateness. But we have to start from Dvaita, duality, that there is a consciousness, awareness within us, enlivening us. And that is from the standpoint of the Pratibimba, that is reflected consciousness. The reflected consciousness is ego, ahankara, jiva. Jiva is looking up to something. That is bimba. That is the original consciousness. So there are two things in us. One is called original consciousness, OC. Another is called reflected consciousness, RC. Now you are talking from the standpoint of reflected consciousness. That is ego, ahankara, jiva. Until jiva realizes that I am that original consciousness, the problem will continue to be jiva. So therefore, right now from the standpoint of jiva, we have to start thinking that there is a higher power behind us, and that is guiding us, directing us, helping us. That thought is very good for the reducing the ego. That is what I meant. We talked about that, about surrendering, right? Yeah.
All right, and we have one more question, Swamiji, from Ashka. Ashka, you're unmuted.
Hari Om Swamiji. So then following up, wondering Swamiji, that once we understand that Bhagavan is within us, how do we then make that leap in realizing that there is in fact no individual and everything and anything is Bhagavan in its entirety?
That's why you have to do sadhana and make your mind pure. Unless the mind become totally sattvic, this thought will not penetrate. This become an ideal for you right now because our mind is still not ready. So we have to do all those sadhana. That's called Viveka, Vairagya, Shamadamadi, Sakka Sampatti, Mamutshuttam, all those things. Qualifications are required. When you develop those qualities, mind becomes pure. And then Bhagavan will reveal himself. Okay. That's why I said that Samartha Ramdas, 13 crores time he chanted Bhagavan's name. Bhagavan revealed himself and he became his guru. Same way you also do sadhana and it will happen.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Swamiji. And I believe that's all the questions that were presented to us.
Okay.
Oh, we have one more.
Okay.
Swamiji, we have also a couple more minutes. Bria, please ask your question quickly. I will unmute Bria. One moment. Bria, you're unmuted.
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, so the two sadhanas that we have to practice is meditation and prayer, right?
Yeah.
So how to so when we practice prayer or meditation, we put some particular time, like say half an hour or 1 hour, and we do that in that time. How can we continue be in that state throughout the day or throughout the activities that we involve daily? How to be in that state to keep ourselves reminded?
Now, if you do successfully a half an hour meditation in the morning, the whole day it will help you. It will give you a mind which is calm, peaceful, etc. during the day. If you practice half an hour. So that will give you that quietude of mind. It is something like when you practice your yogasana, you practice yoga, you practice only a few hours, not even hours, half an hour maybe, right? But the whole day you feel good, comfortable, isn't it? Flexible, relaxed. The same way here also, meditation also. And first you do japa and then japa will lead you to meditation. That will give you a frame of mind which will help you throughout the day.
Okay, thank you, Swami.
All right. Hari Om Swamiji, thank you so much. We have just a quick few announcements. Obviously, if you would like for this to continue on your own path as sadhakas. There are many opportunities here in the mission to be able to get involved. So one such one is the Youth Empowerment Program, YEP, and that is YEP 2020 coming up. And I will hand it off to Archana ji, who will speak a little bit more about this. One moment. Archana, you are unmuted.
Hari Om?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay, great. Thank you, Amar. And Hari Om to everyone, as well as Hari Om to Swamiji. It was really wonderful to hear your stories about Gurudev and hear from you on the 3rd and 4th chapter of We Must. Getting quickly into this announcement, I know Hemant did the announcement last time on Youth Empowerment Program, and the biggest update that we have at this point is that registration is now open. So if anyone's interested or knows anybody that's interested, they can register at CHYKWest.com/YEP. And as shown here in the flyer, the dates are this June 8th through July 26th at Chinmaya Mangalam in Barrie, Texas. And it's a great experience, 2 months of learning about our scriptures, living there with our acharyas, our Swamijis, and other mission sevaks who have learned so much and can share their experiences. So of course, followed by the 2-month residential course, there's also a 10-month seva period. And both of those, I think anybody can very much benefit from and grow from. So if there's any questions, definitely feel free to reach out to myself or anybody on this series, I guess, who has attended Yep, Amarji, as well as others, Shripaniji, Suraj as well. And I know many of you have attended the Yep course in the past. Definitely feel free to inform people who you know may be interested, encourage them to sign up and register, and we can make it a successful 8th batch for this year as well.
All right, great. Thank you so much, Archana ji. And the other announcement we have is for the next Booklight coming up on March 2nd. It'll be at the same time. And just after this satsang completes, we will also have a small survey sent out by our Chinmaya Mission Publications team. So that way we can help improve the Booklight series, CHYKWest activities, etc. So please be on the lookout for that coming soon. And now we'll do closing, and that'll be it. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate
Purnasya Purnamadhaya
Purnameva
Vashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.
Hari Om, everyone. We'll see you next time.